Hello! Today I'm going to repair my trainers. Now you might be thinking, what's wrong with them? They are in fact in absolutely superb condition. And according to my Garmin app, I've run 350 kilometres in them. And the corners have worn here. But the rest of the trainers are absolutely immaculate. I can't fault the condition of them. They've been extremely well made. I've just happened to wear the corners out on them. So I'm going to repair these today. And it's really quite simple, not a lot more complex than repairing the puncture on a bicycle. But of course the trainer manufacturers will tell you otherwise. They're going to tell you that if you repair your trainers, your knees will explode, you'll be 10 minutes a mile slower, they won't send you a Christmas card, there'll be loads of reasons, because what they want is for you to buy a new pair of trainers as quick as you can. Well, they're going to have to wait. I'm going to get 50% more life out of these trainers with a relatively simple, about hour-long puncture repair. Not really a puncture, sort of a patch repair I suppose. Now the kit you need for this repair is really quite simple and it's not expensive either. I've got a good quality adhesive that I've bought on Amazon. Most of the stuff I've got off Amazon there. This is what's called a contact adhesive. I've bought a pair of heels for an ordinary pair of walking shoes, but they're exactly what I need. A good flexible rubber that's got good grip properties, and I'll trim out what I need from these. You're going to need a sharp knife, craft knife, or as they say in the land of the free and the home of the brave, a box cutter. And this is a sanding stick, a bit like a nail file but on a large scale. I've stuck some 60 grit that side, 120 grit that side, and it just enables you to get a bit more pressure and control, and also the abrasive lasts a lot longer if you use one of these. Make one of these, you'll be using it endlessly. Masking tape and some alcohol wipes and a small amount of ethanol. But you get away with just the alcohol wipes to clean the rubber and make sure there's no grease on it. And then finally, pencil and paper to make a template for the shape of the rubber patch that I'm going to cut out. Now what I'm going to do is prepare the sole so that we can stick on a rubber patch and it'll stay where we need it to. What I'm going to do is remove this lug here, flatten this area here and remove these two lugs here. Now this is going to create an area which I will then patch with a new piece of rubber. The rest of the lugs here and here are actually in quite good condition, so I'm going to leave them alone. I could, I suppose, have cut right across there and put the patch across there, but I'm doing a minimal repair, exactly what's needed to get these trainers back in action again. Now what I'm doing now is using this craft knife to remove the lugs that we don't need anymore because they're in the way, or partly worn in this case. So you can see how easily the knife cuts through the rubber lug, but you've got to be careful. I do not want a letter from your mum saying that I'm a bad influence on you and you cut yourself because you've been watching my videos. So there's another one off. Keep trimming that. Keep the blade close to the rest of the sole and it'll reduce the amount of sanding to get rid of the lug. So it does come off. It's a bit fiddly, but it doesn't take too long to cut these lugs off. There we have it, and then I will sand across there to tidy that up and flatten that area around there. Right, so there we have it, this area cut, sanded and prepared. And you can see how useful this sanding block is. And get some real pressure on that and clean that area up. So it's all clean around there, ready to create a paper template. Here is the card template I'm going to use to cut around till I get the right shaped patch piece. There we are, that'll get positioned on there. And I'll cut around that with the sharp knife. Be careful, don't try and do it in one go. Several light passes until you've worked your way through the rubber. It's difficult stuff to cut when it's thick. So there's the piece, cut out of there. Sanded on the back using the sanding stick to give it a good key. It has quite a shiny finish to it, the rubber does, which doesn't take adhesive very well. So a good rubbing back with that sanding stick. And then it will get positioned into here, there, just like that, and that's what the patch will look like when it's bonded on. So the next step is to apply the adhesive. I'm going to run a little bit of masking tape around here so I don't get adhesive where I don't want it, and then prepare the glue. I'll come on to that in a second. Now I've masked off the shoe as I said I would, and I'm going to now apply the contact adhesive to this surface and this surface. Now if you've never used a contact adhesive before, it's a little bit counterintuitive in that you apply glue to both surfaces and then you let it dry and then press the two surfaces together. So don't put a thick coat on a good even coat. So you can see how much I've put on there. That'll be just right to spread over this area here. You want to get it right to the very edges, because if it's going to peel, it'll start peeling at the edges. And then we just spread it round, all around there. And then when that's got an even coat on it, we let that dry. Now I did prepare this first by giving it a good wipe with an alcohol wipe to clean any grease off it, but if it's been very thoroughly sanded and you haven't been doing anything with the surface, it should be pretty clean. So there we are, that's that coated on that surface, and then do the same for this one, where I'll apply that to here. Should do it, that amount there. It's not loads of glue you need to use, just a good coating of it. Again, making sure I've got those edges. I'm wiping right up to the edges. Spread it out evenly. And then give that, well, it depends on the temperature and your conditions. In the warm it'll evaporate faster, the solvent will from the adhesive. But you really need it to be not tacky when you tap it, when you touch it. You can feel the glue's a little bit moist, but it's certainly not sticking to your finger. And that will be the right amount of tack. And then we'll bring the two parts together, but I'll show you that when the solvent's evaporated from these two halves. I should have said before, I changed adhesives. The Gorilla Glue adhesive I was using before just wasn't cutting it. It didn't seem to work. I did a test patch before. I've used this impact adhesive by Stick before, and it's very good. Right, next part. Both these are now touch dry. Little bit of tiniest bit of tack, but they are effectively dry. Now you need to be careful with this because it will start to grab as soon as you position it in the right place. So you need to line it up very carefully with where you want it to be, because once the adhesive starts to grab, it really does stick tight. So I'm happy with it in that position there, and I'll now start to press on very tight. Now it's going now beautifully. That's absolutely superb. Now when I did this, I did deliberately have a slight overhang at this point here, which I'll trim back with a craft knife. And there we have it. Now the best thing to do now is actually to put the trainer on and put my whole body weight on it to make sure that the adhesive is pressed tight into place. And it will take 24 hours for this to cure solidly before you go for a run on it. So I'm now just trimming the excess off here, the little bit of overhang that I spoke about earlier, and then I'm nearly there. Just give this a sanding to tidy the rubbery edge up. So there we are. Finished, trimmed, sanded, tidied up. That's one done. Got another one to go. Going to leave it 24 hours for the adhesive to cure properly. Keep pressing it periodically. I'm sure it'll be fine, but belt and braces. And then I'll take it on a 10k run and I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. I'm sure it'll be fine, and it saved me a small fortune. Why not have a go? I've just got back from a run. I've been running on these trainers now for 2 weeks to see how the repair's gone, and they've been like a new pair of trainers. The patch, as you can see, is still there on both trainers, and I've been really pleased with it. It didn't cost me a lot, and it saved me the cost of a new pair of trainers for another 250 kilometres. I love Solomon's, and I promise you I'll buy a new pair of Solomon when I get there. And perhaps more importantly, I've saved Mother Earth half the cost of a new pair of trainers, and I've enjoyed doing it. So please have a go. It's simpler than you think. I'm going to put some clips together and put them on YouTube to do with how to make some more stuff. I enjoyed making this one so much. I'm going to show you how to put together a pick and pluck storage case for GoPro equipment, and this is a great little project. A dry bag made out of some really cheap materials. There's not a stitch in sight, it's just put together with gaffer tape. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.